I wanted to say, when it comes to really fitness and the reason why you go to the gym, because you need to know the reason why you're going to the gym. And for example, you don't want to go to the gym and you're doing every single exercise, but you don't track it at all. Because even the workouts that you don't like, you need to do it. Because you have to realize you gain the most from doing workouts that you don't really like, because your body's not really used to it. Because when you neglect workouts that you don't like to do, you realize that you're not training those types of muscles. So that's why in this video, I'll show you clips of my push workout. And at the moment, I'm still working out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's just that I have a completely different routine that I'll try out for the next few months. It's because summer's coming up, so that's why it's extra motivation for myself. The most important thing that I want you to take away from this video is just to be consistent. Because if I can be consistent in the gym, because this is week 10 now, and it's going on to week 10 to week 12. 10 weeks is 2 months and 2 weeks. And what I'm going to say is that it's nearly coming up to 10 to 12 weeks for me. So I've nearly been at the gym, in other words, for 3 months. And I wanted to say that when it comes to really fitness, you need to start thinking about it as a lifestyle. Because for example, you want to date someone that takes care of themselves, someone that's fit, you're going to have to focus more on your diet. You're going to have to focus on the lifestyle that you have outside of fitness. Because by me doing this video, it's not just about in the gym, but it's also your life outside of the gym. For example, if you're going out and you know the people around you are drinking, you know the people around you are not eating the foods that you want, but then also you have to realize the way that people think as well. You're surrounding yourself with people that do things without thinking. You're surrounding yourself with people that you don't want to be like. And it's really a big deal because you have to realize by going to the gym, you're going to meet like-minded people. You want it to be that when people look at you, they can tell that you work out. And it's not like you have to take your shirt off everywhere, but you want it to be that people can tell that you work out, that you have broad shoulders, you have a narrow waist. And you realize as well that your muscles, whenever you wear like a shirt that really fits you, because that's another thing, you need to wear clothes that really fit you if you want to have like a lean aesthetic. So that's what I'm going to say, because you want it to be that people, when they walk past you, they look at you twice because they like what they saw once and they wanted to talk to you twice. And that's what I'm going to say, because when it comes to you doing everything you can in terms of fitness, it's more about diet, it's more about doing the things you don't like. If you only do the things that you like and you only do the things that you feel like, you realize you're not going to progress as fast as you really want to. But then also, when I'm doing other stuff, such as eating sourdough bread, rather than just eating any bread, that already sets me apart, because I'm realizing what has the most protein, what is whole foods as well, because I don't want it to be that I eat something, but then I'm craving something else. And I noticed that my craving, I didn't really have any cravings yesterday. Because what happens, yesterday I ate 3 Nature Valley bars because it's high in protein. I ate banana, I had 4 eggs, and then I had chicken and rice. And I'm trying to think if I had anything else. I had water as well. And in between, if I ever wanted a snack, which didn't really happen yesterday, but I just ate chewing gum as well. Because 1, it'll make me to smell good in terms of my breath, but then 2, it really helps my jawline. And that's really a hack if you really think about it, because, for example, I used to snack, I used to not have the best diet. So the foods that I had yesterday, it was way less than what I've had before. I'll put in the calories, the total number of protein that I had. And another thing that I'm doing, I'm really tracking my steps. Because the thing is, it's not just really about lifting weights, but it's also about cardio. Because you want it to be that you're gaining as much muscle as you can while losing weight. You have to realize that when you do things that you don't like, it can apply to other areas of your life. And that's why as well, you need to even ask yourself, the people that you're talking to, do you like being around them? Do the people around you, do they compliment you? Because if you don't get that, that's really signs that you do need to be working out a lot more. And you're not just doing it for other people's validation, but you need to do it for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are by yourself. And when you look at yourself in the mirror, when you look at yourself in general, because the thing is, you want it to be that you're not embarrassed. You're not embarrassed with the work that you've done. You're not embarrassed with the physique that you do have. And you have to realize that everything that's worthwhile is not really given to people. They do everything they can to really maintain it, and once they've maintained it, to really keep going. Because the way that I look at it is that I want it to be that people can tell that I work out without me needing to take my shirt off, and that's motivating enough. But then also, if you're not getting attention that you want, if you're not getting compliments, but then also, if people don't want you now, you have to realize that when you work out, you'll be the one that people want later down the line. And then it's really up to you how you want to respond to that. Whether you say yes, whether you say no. And I wanted to say, by me dressing like this, it already shows that I do want to be in the gym, because today I don't even need to go to the gym because I worked out yesterday. When it comes to workouts, some people may want to try something, they may want to try a bit of everything, but you need to realize that in terms of gaining and progressing a lot more, you do need to have a routine in place. Because once you have a routine, you realize that when you do have the routine and it's working for you, you can keep going. But then also, when you've exercised long enough, doing the same exercises, having the same diets, you realize that if something's wrong, you can always adjust. And you have to realize that when you're lean, when you're more muscular, you realize that you're going to get more muscles if you progressively overload. So the weight that you're currently lifting, you want it to be that you're training near to failure, but then also you have to realize that when you are progressively overloading, the weight should be really hard for you to lift. You're just about lifting it because it's your limit. And you have to realize that when you are lifting weights, if it's so easy to lift, you're not really working out properly. But the thing is, I do get it if you want to have good form. You may not feel 100% every single time, but you don't want it to be all the time, where you're only doing weights that you can lift. And that's the same thing, because, you know, for example, when you try to level up in general, you overcome challenges. You want it to be that when you do one challenge, that you do another challenge that's slightly harder. Because the thing is, if you don't challenge yourself at all, you realize that you're not going to change at all. And when change really happens, unexpectedly, you realize it's going to throw you off completely. And that's what I'm going to say, because when people say that something is worthwhile, it's because it wasn't easy to have. And also, when you do face challenges, you want it to be that you learn something new every single time about yourself. And every time when I say fitness is a non-negotiable, it's because, you know, everything else in your life, let's say it's all going downhill, you have to realize that as long as you're consistent in terms of fitness, you realize that you can overcome most things. Because when it comes to fitness, you realize that when people say no pain, it means no gain. But then also you have to realize that when you are in a painful situation, it's really up to you about the choices that you make. Because let's say, for example, that someone's broken up with you, let's say you've lost your job, you realize that would you rather just sit there and just suffer the pain all on your own, not really talking about it, or would you do everything you can to not talk about it to people unless you actually trust that person, but then also you're going to the gym as well? Because you want it to be that after a workout, you didn't feel like going, but then afterwards you feel a lot greater. So that's all I really wanted to say, because when it comes to going to the gym, you want to meet gym bros, you want to date gym girls, you realize that they're looking for certain qualities in a person. And if you have certain qualities where you're disciplined, you're determined, you're confident, and you realize that you may not be as confident as other people, but you're willing to at least be around confident people, it's going to rub off on you, and then you're going to naturally be confident. Because the thing is, when you're confident, it means that you know what you've got, you know what you offer people, and you realize that if people don't like it, then you can always meet other people. And you need to realize that when you are attracting people, it's because it's what you're doing and it's what you're saying. So when you are attracting people, it's not just you chasing people, but it's the other way around, where people want to get to know you, people want to hang out with you, and people admire you from a far distance. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. If you're new, welcome to the channel, and thank you for watching.